So we are going to continue reading in Genesis now. I believe we are on chapter 7. These next few chapters aren't too long, and I apologize for any background noise. I'm at a small park here near the library. Here we go. Noah's family and various beasts and fowls enter the ark. The flood comes and water covers the whole earth. All other life that breathes is destroyed. And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. Of fowls also of the air by sevens, the male and his female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. Now, a quick note here. I've heard some people say this meant there were 7 male and 7 female of the clean animals, but only 1 male, 1 female of the unclean. I don't know. I mean, with most animals, especially those that are considered clean, you usually have a fair number of female to male ratio there. You don't have a lot of heifers for every bull. You have a lot of heifers for every bull. You have a lot of ewe lambs for every ram. So, to me, it always seemed to make more sense. 1 male with 6 females. You bring the herd, because you only need 1 male to repopulate. So, just a thought. For yet 7 days, continuing verse 4. For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, into the ark, because of the waters of the flood, of clean beasts, and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth. There went in 2 and 2 unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. So Noah was given a week to get all the animals onto the ark. Now, from the way this is described here, it does sound like there's going to be 14 of each clean animal, 7 male, 7 female. But again, I'm just not sure. Verse 11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were open. And I do want to mention that this is an important part. It wasn't just raining for 40 days. You also had the groundwater was rising. Up to this point, you just had the ocean and the land. Now, the groundwater, the land is being broken so that the groundwater rises out. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. That's a long rainstorm. In the selfsame day entered Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. And they went in unto Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in, male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased, and bare up the ark, and it was lift up upon the earth. Okay, so again, the animals. Now the water is rising enough that it lifts the ark up. And the waters prevailed, and were increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both fowl, and of cattle, and of beast, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died. And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle and creeping things, and the fowl of the heaven. And they were destroyed from the earth, and Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days, approximately 5 months. Now, a lot of people will talk about this, there's no way that this could be a global flood. I mean, it only went up 15 cubits, right? And as we mentioned, a cubit is just that. So 15 cubits is about 35, 40 feet, well, about 45 feet. No, 15 cubits, not even that. 15 cubits is like 25 feet. So how can 15 cubits cover the hills and the mountains, right? The problem is that you got to read this in progression. This isn't describing just one event. It's not saying, after 40 days, the waters has gone up 15 cubits. No. I mean, that would be pretty impressive in and of itself, quite honestly. But we have here, the waters prevailed and increased and lifted the ark up. Then the waters prevailed exceedingly, and all the hills were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. Okay, what we really have here is progression. After a few days, the ark rises up. We wait a few more days, now the hills are covered. A few more days, and the water has got up another 15 cubits. A few more days, and the mountains are covered. This is a progression as the water goes up. Noah's like taking a sounding. He's seeing how deep the waters is, how much deeper it is today than it was yesterday. Maybe he does it once, every 10 days. After the first 10 days, the ark is rising. After the second 10 days, the hills are covered. Third 10 days, 15 more cubits. At the end of 40 days, the mountains are covered. This was a global flood. Everything in which the breath of life was, meaning fish, they survived. I don't know, maybe some worms and stuff survived. I don't know if they breathe. So anything that doesn't need to breathe survived the flood. Everything that needed to breathe died unless it was on the ark. Also note again, I just want to remind us that Shem, Ham, and Japheth already had children before the flood. We are told this in the book of Moses. So when they go and they get on the ark with their wives, they don't bring any of their children. So we have two options. Either their children were righteous enough to be translated and join the city of Enoch like so many others, or we actually have three options. Translated and joined Enoch, died before the flood, or died in the flood. Another thing I do want to mention really quick is that Methuselah, Noah's grandfather, he lived to be 969 years old, oldest man on record. If you track the timeline, he died the same year the flood came. But he was a righteous man. He was a little bit full of himself, but he was a righteous man. So I don't think he died in the flood. But I'm actually going to save that for a separate video and not in the readings, because it's something that is not obvious from the reading, and so I want to put it separately. So we will leave that here, and we will read about what comes after the flood next time.